Good evening, guys. It's John, the firearms instructor, and welcome back to our live here in the range. It's our live podcast. I hope you had a beautiful and safe 4th of July. We did. My wife and I stayed at home and didn't do a damn thing. So it was kind of nice. It was wonderful. It was a good thing. We heard a bunch of fireworks. Our neighbors around us buy thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with it. Some of the guys down the street had better fireworks than the city or whatever you got to say had fireworks. It was pretty awesome. So tonight we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on my Facebook channel. We are live on Rumble. If you know what a Rumble is, it's a two-way friendly copy, not exactly a copy of YouTube, but it is more in that. And we are on our Instagram, so we're live all over the place. So you have an opportunity to let us know where you are, where you're watching it. And if you're new to the channel, we'd like to give you a big shout out. So make sure you let us know that this is your first time, or maybe your first time back for a while, or just say hello. We love to talk to you. We actually physically, we are a firearms training facility in beautiful Cape Coral, Florida, where we specialize in you. We specialize in helping first-time shooters become more proficient with a pistol and become more confident with a pistol. And then we have range time. We're an indoor 5-lane gun range in beautiful Southwest Florida. And if you haven't been to Florida, it is hot during the summer. It is nice during the winter. And we have hurricanes once in a while. But we're on the southwest side, so we don't get as much of the Atlantic hurricanes as much people do. But once we get them, boys. we got our ass handed to us a couple times in the last few years. We have a few comments coming in, so we'll flip over to those just to see who's saying what, and we appreciate that very much. All right, looks like Kenneth Donaldson. Let's go. All right, Kenneth, are you new to the channel? I don't. Mississippi, about 60 miles away from Memphis, Tennessee. Beautiful. Natasha, hello, Natasha's mom. How are you? I hope you're feeling good, honey. I'm glad you're on there. I appreciate you very much. Well, Kenneth, I'm glad you're on, buddy. That's a new name. I haven't seen that one. You may have been on, but you may be not a commenter before. But we're glad you're here, sir. Big shout out to you. Thank you very much. Make sure you are making sure that everybody on here that it's doing the live. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. There has been some stuff going on about people getting unsubscribed to our channel if you're watching it through YouTube. So please make sure that you do all the little likes and the shares and the follows and everything else for all these social media accounts. It helps us as a small business very much so, and it tells YouTube and it tells all the other powers to be that this is important, people like it, and we want to show more of it. So that helps us tremendously. If you're on YouTube, bell icon, like, and subscribe button. Now, I've taken a little hiatus. I haven't really done a lot of videos on YouTube. I'm just filling my batteries back up. We're at about 450 videos, and, we want to get those subscribers. We've got over 30,000 subscribers, and we just got over last week over 4.5 million views, and we are excited about this. Still broke as a finger on a basketball player, but sooner or later it's going to start paying off. But I didn't do this to get paid. I did this because it's a passion of mine. I love teaching people to shoot, and I thought this is a great way to introduce myself and a great way to introduce my YouTube channel and allow me to keep proceeding with my passion as much as possible. So tonight we got a great show for you. As the Hodge twins say, we got a good show for you tonight. If you don't know the Hodge twins, they are twin brothers that have a very 2A thing. I like the informative information you provide, the pistol range, and how you use a pistol properly. Thank you so much for sharing your information. Why, thank you, Kenneth. You are awesome, my friend, and I'm glad you are on the. All I ask you to do, my friend, is make sure that you do what you can to like and subscribe, and then maybe tell a friend or a family member. Would appreciate it. Hey, Chris, how you feeling, buddy? I know you weren't feeling up to snuff a little bit, and you had that plane thing. I came in last place on the. How's a firearms instructor who teaches people to shoot on a regular basis? I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if it was, and I was standing in the barn. Last night, it was not my night. And that happens once in a while. You know, we do our videos. We don't always edit much of our videos, and sometimes you miss and sometimes you win. But last night I shot a 221 out of 300 on that on our Monday night league. Again, Miss Johnson got second place. Johnny got second place, but neither one of those could win. So we had a good group last night. We appreciate it. Have an opportunity. You're local. Every Monday night at 6 o'clock, we have our 9mm league. You don't need to be an expert marksman. It's out to have fun, but we do pay out top 3. So it costs you $20 to enter. It's about 50 rounds of ammo when you get done with it, and it gives you some time to it gives you time behind the gun and have a little bit of fun with people just like you that want to become better shooters. And we give you some advice and things like that. So ideally, it'd be a fun time for you. And what are you doing at 6 o'clock on Monday nights anyways? It's not football season, so we don't need to worry about that. Football season comes around, I can understand that, but we have a TV in the back, so we're not going to miss any football. And really, 6 o'clock, football doesn't start till 8 anyways, so you're good, kids. You're good. Don't worry about that. And if Mama's complaining about it, bring her with you. We'd love to. Women or men are allowed to shoot with us. No issues there. We have that all there. All right, so let's go ahead and start the live. I think it's going to be a good one tonight. And tonight's live is all about, let's see if I can get it, top pistols that should be on your hit list. And it should be, these are the ones that I think are the most important, the ones that are most popular, and the ones that are being talked about an awful lot. Now, in fairness, you know, I wear Smith & Wesson hat all day long, and I believe in the Smith & Wesson products. And I pretty much have told you guys my opinion on certain products and the goods and the bads about all of them. But maybe someone's new to the channel and doesn't know which pistol they want to start with first. And there's a lot to be said about starting cheap, and then once you get good, go into something a little bit better. And I can tell you this, in a lot of things, that may be ideal, right? We don't want to buy a $17,000 guitar to learn to play the guitar. It's better off buying something a little less expensive, and then from there, because that $17,000 guitar, which I don't even know if they make a $17,000 guitar, I'm sure they do. That guitar is going to be just as it's got strings, it's going to play just as nice as the $25 guitar that you get from the Five and Dime. So I'll give you my example. One time I took guitar lessons. I begged my mother, Mom, can I take guitar lessons? And she ended up borrowing a guitar from somebody. She knew I wasn't going to stay up to it. She knew I wasn't going to do it. I want an electric guitar. So she sent me over to this guy who had long hair all the way down to his back. And this guy was, he's a hippie. That's what he was, a hippie, and he was a guitar player. And my mom got me lessons, and I did like 10 lessons with the guy. And he told me what to do every week, and I would not do it because I got bored with it already. My fingers were hurting. He said I had to build calluses. So at the end of it, I told him, I think I need a better guitar because this guitar here just doesn't play right. And he took it out and did the whole riff for Stairway to Heaven in front of me. And I realized, well, this ain't for me. So it's not about the guitar. It's not about the gun. It's about spending time behind it. So in my opinion, each one of these firearms I'm going to give you today, and I'll be honest with you, this list is $6.99 and less. $6.99 and less. And the only reason why it's that number there is because we have a couple manufacturers that are kind of high on their money, but are still just, some of the cheaper ones is just as good, if that makes sense. So let's start with the number one. Can anybody comment below before I show it and give me what I think the number one pistol people should look at? And then we'll check it afterwards. Go ahead and comment, and then we'll check it afterwards. Top pistols you should be on your list. When it comes to selecting a perfect pistol, there's no such thing. The options can be overwhelming. We'll help you guide through a mirage of choices to help you compile a list of top pistols. That list will help you make a decision, or maybe go to the range and try a couple of them. Maybe try before you buy. That's one of the things I highly recommend if you're looking for a new pistol, is to get that try before you buy. Some of the instructors, obviously we're a gun range. We offer try before you. We're a unique store. We're a little different than most stores. Most of your firearms, most of your gun stores themselves stock a lot of product and sell only a few. We stock the most popular products on the market as we sit today. And when we do classes and a student comes in and does not have a firearm, we're going to show them 3 or 4 different products that we think would work for them. Meaning if it's a woman, we're going to show her a couple weapons that are going to be women friendly. If they're seniors, we're going to show you a couple weapons that could be senior friendly. And then from there, let them make a decision what they want to buy. Because the biggest buyer's remorse in firearms is buying something because of a color or because of somebody told you it was a great weapon and you not shooting it before you buy it and hating it. And it happens an awful lot. It happens continuously to elderly women because somebody at Bass Pro Shop or Dick's Sporting Goods or Sportsman's Warehouse that's behind the counter, his part-time job is working there. He's not a gun store. They're an employee of a big chain store. And at that point in time, they've been told by everybody in the world that a woman can't rack a slide. And the only good weapon they can physically shoot is a revolver, which I totally disagree with. 90% of senior women cannot shoot a revolver because of trigger engagement. Because that trigger is the safety on the revolver. And physically, it could be up to 10 pounds of trigger pull. Now, can you imagine taking a 84-year-old woman, which we get a lot of women that are 65 and older now getting firearms, and they barely can pull the trigger, pull the trigger on a regular basis, but in a high stress situation, it may be even harder for her to pull the trigger. So women, you can do anything a man can do as long as you get the right pistol in your hand. The ones we've chose today are selected on basis of reliability, performance, user satisfaction, ensuring whether you're a seasoned shooter or a beginner, you'll find a suitable option. All right, so I'm going to give you now. This is not any kind of I think this is the best. This is what you need to go with. I'm just giving you my concept and my idea. Now, I am not a Glock guy, but Glock is the most popular pistol on the market. This Glock 19, this is the Gen 5. They've made Glock 1s, Glock 2s, Glock 3s, Glock 4s, and Glock 5s. And each one has their own little caveats to it. Like Glock, the Gen 5 you see here, it's fingerless. There's no finger grooves in this thing. Gen 4 had finger grooves. Gen 4 had the wider mag drop button. This is front serration Gen 5. They've done so many different things, but the Glock itself is issued all over the world. Now, the Glock 19 is just under 4 inches. I would not consider this the greatest carry gun for most people, but it's a great starter gun that puts you in a position to get everything you need. Most of your Glock products, the Gen 5s, the Gen 4s, were all coming with 3 magazines. Now, they make what we consider California-based, which is 10 rounds or less, but most of the stuff in Florida is going to be 15 rounds. So this Glock comes with 15 rounds of 9mm, and there's going to be 3 magazines in the box. And they come with the Glock loader and some other stuff. What's a Glock 19 known for? It's known for its reliability, the versatility, the widespread use used along law enforcement and the military for a long period of time. They were using the Glocks as well. It's issued all over the world. It's a great piece. It's something you should look at. Now, what's the disadvantages of a Glock 19? The Glock 19 has a unique trigger. They call it an AccuTrigger. I'm not sure. I'm just going to call it a fully loaded trigger. So in other words, when I engage a trigger, now we've talked multiple times in regards to trigger engagement, that a trigger has some trigger travel. And trigger travel is the distance it comes when you put your finger on the trigger till the weapon engages, till the weapon fires. And some of that trigger travel is slacky, some is heavy, some comes to a wall, some stops dead, some carries through the trigger all the way, and it gets harder and harder and harder until the weapon cuts. In my opinion, I think the Glock has a very hard trigger. It's not a tough trigger, it's a hard trigger, meaning it gets harder as you engage it. If you slowly press the trigger like you're supposed to and not pull the trigger, you're going to feel the pressure it takes to cut a trigger. Now, the Glock trigger really is only 5.5 pounds, but it's a big cut in the sear, and that sear causes that trigger will continuously engage until it cuts. There's no wall situation in this, or no slide situation. So highly, highly, highly recommend you shoot a Glock. One of the challenges with the Glock is there is no safety on the guns. No gun has a true safety. You are the safety. A safety on a pistol is a mechanical device that can and will fail. You keeping your finger off the trigger until it fires, that's the true safety on a gun. But I will tell you, these trigger safeties, if you look at this picture, there's one in front of that trigger. There's a little button in front of that trigger. Now, trying to take that back, speaking about guitars and finger grooves, that trigger button there, that thing in front of the trigger, that activates the trigger, allows it to go back. That kind of hurts your finger after a while. It's not something you have to build a callus on to shoot that gun really well. These are double stacked weapons, so they're kind of thick in the hand. May not be suitable for all people because of small fingers and small hands. But the Glock 19 would be my first one to tell you guys about to put on your list to maybe get a shoot. Now, what'd be the next one? The next one would be the Glock's brother. This is the Glock. Oh, by the way, the Glock 43X. Now, I'm going to show you tonight. I'm showing you mostly what I consider optic-ready models. Optic-ready models allows you to put a red dot on it when it's time, but physically don't buy the gun with the red dot on there because you physically need to know how to shoot the pistol and work the sights before you ever buy a red dot of any kind. So Glock 43X MOS, this is the brother of the 19. Awesome product. It's got all the bells and whistles that most people need. It's known for its slim profile, reliability, perfect for concealed carry. Matter of fact, it holds 10 rounds of 9mm. Nice product. It's still got the Glock 19 problem with the trigger. I tend to, it's still a stiff trigger. And this is MOS, so it has a plate system. One thing nice Glock has done lately is in the very beginning of MOS, they put the most expensive Trigicons and all the other stuff that would Glock would only take those. Now they're taking some other economical red dots. Now you can spend as much. A lot of times back in the day when they first came out with the MOS system, some of those MOSs was the price of the guns, for God's sakes. And who wants a $800 gun and a $700 red dot? You know, doesn't matter. We had something last night. Guys were shooting dots last night, and they're still, the dot does not make you accurate. The dot helps you quick acquisition, but you still got to press the trigger and engage the trigger. And guys using the red dots in the class we had last, not class, but what's the in the I'm dead brain. Yeah, I apologize. Like Monday night league, those guys are still pulling the bullets. They're pulling the bullets left. They're pulling the bullets right. Pulling high. It's just part of it. So the dot doesn't make you more accurate. It makes you quick acquisition. Dots were never meant for bullseyes. They were meant for a paper plate at so many distance. You know, quick acquisition. So that's the Glock line. There's nothing wrong with a Glock. You want a Glock, get a Glock. I would recommend you shoot the Glocks before you buy a Glock because it is a unique trigger. Most people, Natasha, buy Glocks and then change out the trigger because the trigger itself is just not it's not designed for accuracy. It's designed for man silhouette, if that makes sense. Don't get me wrong, you could be accurate with any pistol as long as you understand trigger travel and how much pressure you're putting on it. Now, here's my, for the Smith & Wesson line. You know I'm a Smith & Wesson guy. I actually sell a crap load of these things. They are the best. This is the cat's meow. If you came in the store today and trusted me 100% and said, put the gun in my hand that I'm going to have for the next 25 years and not have to worry about anything. It's going to run right out of the box. It's going to be super accurate. It's got a decent trigger engagement. It's easy racking. It's got a backstrap safety. It's optic ready. Comes with 3 magazines and a loader. Smith & Wesson Equalizer. There's nothing equal to an Equalizer. And I'll stand up to that. I probably, last time I looked, last year alone, we probably sold 75 to 80 of those this year alone. And they are, hands down, the most accurate pistol you could put in your hand. At a low, well, Smith just came up with a 3% price increase just a little while ago. But we were under $550 on these on a regular basis, and now we're at like $570 $470, I think. Not a bad pistol. MSRP on these is $599. Oh, by the way, the Glock 19 would be about that. MSRP 590 or something like that. In the MOS 43 would be in that 499 range at this point in time. And we're not doing this to sell anything. We're just kind of giving you education of, MSRP is a lot higher than that though. So the Equalizer itself, it's almost hard for me not to sell one of these to somebody, especially somebody who's new to shooting, because we can invest money into, I'll show you here in a little bit, a Taurus line. It's an economical pistol. It's going to work for us fine, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of it, you're going to be disappointed that you didn't buy into more gun when you had the opportunity. Keep in mind, multiple firearms in your home is not a problem because you have multiple bedrooms in your problem. You got to think about this in a tactical situation. Most people are going to have their firearm where? In the bedroom. If you're in the living room and someone throws a brick through your front window and they try to come in and get you, you got to run to go get the firearm. Having weapons stored in the home in different locations gives you that tactical advantage. So, Smith & Wesson Equalizer, good for women, good for men, easy racking. Backstrap safety is a pretty unique thing. It has a front rail that allowed you to add a flashlight to it. It's a 3.6-inch barrel. It's not I wouldn't consider a majority. It could be carried. It's not huge or big, but a 3.1-inch barrel would be a lot easier to carry on your body. That it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but that 3-inch barrel is a lot easier to carry than a 4-inch barrel. But if you're looking for a pistol will do everything for you at one time, Smith & Wesson Equalizer is the way to go. We always have these in stock. You can always stop by and do a try before you buy and get yourself comfortable with something. You would not be looking for anything else after the fact, except for a pocket pistol down the road. Well, Florida carries a lot different than other places. We ain't never putting the coat on. If we do, it's for about 20 minutes in the morning. I don't even own a coat except a camel coat. So I'm not going to be wearing a jacket or anything else like that, shoulder holsters or anything else like that, because it's never going to get that cold that you got to wear a jacket every day. So the pocket pistols are going to be the way to go, but you can't start buying a pocket pistol first. Those are not designed for accuracy. They're designed for short acquisitions real close to you. And I'll show you one here in a little bit. All right, so the same family, we're going to look at the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. Now, this is a unique little product here. It's got a unique trigger. It's got a flat trigger. Remember I told you about trigger travel. But the Shield's travel has a short wall. So in other words, that trigger comes back to a dead stop. Anything past that dead stop, the weapon is going to fire. Now, these Shield Plus optic readies are going to have night sights on them. They're going to have a 10 round and a 13 round. The trigger has a flat face trigger on it, so you don't get any kind of draw off to right or left when you've got too much finger in the gun or too less finger in the gun. They are optic ready, so they do allow. They make Smith & Wesson makes the Shield Plus optic ready or not optic ready. Price point is so close together, you might as well get the opportunity. Majority of the manufacturers now are producing more optic ready availability pistols than non-optic ready. That you never put an optic on it, ain't going to hurt your feelings. But if you want to put an optic on it, you have the ability to take a slide out and have it cut to add an optic. Can be very expensive and time consuming. And I told you before, if you want a red dot on your pistol, you should always have a backup that does not have a red dot. We had a situation last night. One of our students, one of our guys that was in the Monday Night League. He was shooting a red dot, and the red dot bolts broke and punched him right in the face. Now, obviously, he had his safety gear on, but he thought, and I think I would have thought, the way that came off that gun, that he got shot last night. And he immediately panicked a little bit because he thought he got hit by a bullet because it hit him so hard. This can happen, guys, the red dots. This can happen. Glass can break. This guy's had no luck on red dots. He bought 3 of them so far. And he bought 2 from Amazon. And the 2 from Amazon, the glass fell out of it after a short period of time. Now, Amazon always says they're this product, but they're not that product. You know how it goes. But anyways, this was a good red dot, but the bolts broke on it. And when the bolts broke on it, that was he was shooting it. And that came back and hit him right above his eye. Now, luckily, he had his glasses on and everything else like that. So having a weapon with a red dot and without a red dot the same, because you need to make sure that you can see through your red dot to your sights, whether you're getting a weapon that has raised sights or you have a cut in the red dot that allows you to co-witness with your sights if you need to. Like the Shield Equalizer, those sights are raised enough that if you put one of the Crimson Trace rads, you're going to be able to look right through that. If the red dot, or you want to shut it off, or battery went dead, these are all things that can happen, guys. You're able to see through the weapon as well. This is a good carry. I've been carrying a Shield for a long period of time. I mean, back in the old days, the Shield was actually the gun that most everybody was carrying because of the capacity that it had way before the 365 came out. 365 from Sig was the first high capacity small weapon. And they had a unique magazine which allowed 12 rounds, which was just unheard of. Have a 3.1 inch barrel, very thin, because they weren't double stacked magazines. They're serpentining magazines, so it's very thinning, similar to the Shield Plus. Everyone has that magazine feature now, but at the time, nobody had that. That's the smallest high capacity product there was those Glock 26s or the Smith & Wesson Compact, which were double stack weapons that were very hard to carry on a regular basis. But nowadays, everyone has some kind of magazine that allows for you to put high capacity in. Now, here's a caveat of the Shield Plus and the Shield Plus Optic Ready is that the Equalizer's 15-round magazine will fit directly into the Shield Plus. And those aren't very expensive. Smith & Wesson laid out a pretty good program that you can buy a 15-round Smith & Wesson Equalizer magazine for under $30 and be able to take your Shield Plus and put that 15-rounder into the Shield Plus, and now you have 15 plus 1. This is a good option for people who want to carry some capacity or they feel they're under capacity and they want to get something else. And they want to get, instead of carrying 3 magazines with you, which I've seen guys do, they got the Glock 19 and 2 magazines. That's an awful lot of rounds. And plus the one that's in the magazines. They're carrying, That's a high capacity, but you got to be really, really diligent and do it on a regular basis and get the right belt and the right assembly for you to carry that on a regular basis. I can tell you, I could never carry that weapon continuously. It was always a problem for me. Now, I'm not the skinniest guy in the world, but once you get a belt on, you get this big weapon on you, you just don't feel comfortable enough. And I always thought my weapon was showing all the time because of my shirts and everything else like that. So you got to really be disciplined. And when they went to these thinner weapons, it surely made a difference. With the inside the waistband holster and one of these, you can't even tell you got it on. And you're walking around with 16 rounds. Obviously, the FBI statistics talks about only 2.5 rounds and 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning and 2 to 4 feet away. So, I mean, you don't need that many rounds, but there is a scenario where it's better to have it, not need it, not have it. So the Shield Plus, that's the next one. All right, so I'm going to give you the Sig 320 because the Sig 320 is the newest weapon that the military, United States military, went to the Sig 320 line. This is a unique thing because they have a couple different frame styles they do, and they have the XLs and they have all the stuff. There's a full line of Sig 320s. I'm not a Sig guy. I don't normally stock Sig at the store, and it's because of some situations in the past. Now, the 320 itself has had a rocky road, but it's very popular still. A lot of guys still have it. They do optic ready products on here. I don't want to fill you with my choices. I'm just giving you a choice with a good price point. These are the regular compacts. You'd be at $5.99 maybe. Oh, by the way, that optic ready Shield Plus optic ready, those are somewhere in the 520 to 540, somewhere like that, with the night sights and everything else. Like, kind of give you an idea. Again, 320's got its place. I mean, they have a modular system. In other words, you can take the frame, change the frame totally out, buy the frames. You just put the firing mechanisms back in there. There's been some homework that they've done a lot of stuff in the past. They really put together a good product. It's issued to the United States military, so how bad could it actually be? But there has been some things. You guys do your homework on that. Read the blogs and all that stuff about 320s. You'll make your opinion up. I don't mind the trigger. I think it has a great trigger. It is a little clunky. When you rack a SIG and you dry fire it, it's a very plasticky click of a firing pin, which means there's plastic hitting a plastic, and sooner or later, I think it would wear. Where when you engage a Glock or a Smith & Wesson or a Ruger or a Taurus, it's metal touching metal, and it clicks a lot better. Again, you make that decision. There's a lot of people who will stand by the SIG and how it shoots. I can tell you this, they're accurate. I mean, they have a good, if you can get through the trigger, they're good. This is large like the Glock 19, though. This is a 4-inch barrel, but you're looking at 15 to 17 rounds according to it. And they have a lot of different different products out there. SIG makes a whole line of compacts that you get your fingers on. This is the company that starts getting up there a little higher and higher and higher in price, though. your average on these is about $100 higher than the Smith and $100 higher than the Glocks. So, and I don't think they're any better than either one of those. I just think you're paying for the Sig name, if that makes sense to you. But it is on the list because it is very popular, and I could not put it on the list, even though I do not normally stock 320s. We can get them on a regular basis. Now, the 365, which is Sig Line 2, is their small, optic ready 12 rounds. This was the first. These guys came out with that P365, very first high capacity, very thin, very easy to carry 12 round beast. And it was a great product if it ran. When it first started out, they issued it very quickly before they got to the SHOT Show, and there was having a lot of problems with it feeding. Now they solved all those, and it works really well. It's a great product. It is optic ready. It does have night sights immediately on them. They come optic ready. They come without optic ready. They come with 4-inch barrel, 5-inch barrel, the XLs now. A lot of different stuff. Very high capacity. It's a very popular carry gun. A lot of people do it. I would highly recommend you shoot one before you buy one, because it triggers a little quonky on it. That's all I can tell you. Triggers a little quonky on it. All right. And another thing is the Springfield Hellcat. Hellcat has its in that same frame style. I'm not too crazy about the bigger Springfield products, but this Hellcat itself, with the high capacity magazine, the optic readiness of it, and the night sights, these have their red and greens, which are very, very cool. It does have that trigger safety. It triggers a little heavy on the front side, and then it cuts a little shorter in the back. Not a bad. A lot of guys that shoot these tend to change out. Same thing with the Sig. A lot of the guys shoot these and change out the triggers on them. We get a lot of people complaining on the Hellcat that it pinches their fingers a little bit when they use them. And that's more because they run the trigger finger across the trigger guard and not on the trigger itself. That guard is not for your finger to rest on. You should be in your center of the tip of your trigger finger should be in the center of the trigger and off that trigger well as much as possible. But most people who shoot Springfield Hellcats really good, they tend to change the trigger on after a point in time. But they are popular. They're not as popular as the 365, and definitely not as popular as as some of the Glock products. But definitely something that you could add to your list and get out there and try. Price point on these are all over the board, man. I've seen them as low as $525. I've seen them as high as $649. Again, you're paying money for a name, and I wouldn't say it's better than anything else. So let's here I go with my an opinion. All right, so now we're going to go lowball, but I'm going to tell you this Taurus line, all the Taurus line really, but there's two compact products they make, and I need to put both of them on the list because I don't want to get too far into this thing. But the Taurus G2C, now this is the one that pretty much it's super great product. There are some disadvantages of this product, but there's more advantages than there are disadvantages. There's a good price point on these. I mean, you can find these in somewhere between $219 and if you're paying $250 for it, you're overpaying, if that makes sense. So kind of give you an idea where that is. Now, what's neat about these, they are a double stack weapon. Comes with two 12-round magazines. It has the ability of buying one with the optic ready, but that's more in the G3 line, and I'll give you a little bit of comments on the G3 line. G2 and G3Cs are almost the same gun except for the trigger and the sighting system. Reason why I like the G2C is I love the 3-dot system. Now, if you don't know what a 3-dot system is, that's 2 dots in the back and 1 dot in the front. And you visually put the 2 dots in the front, 2 dots in the back, and 1 dot in the front to level out your sights. And it's very easy as an instructor to teach somebody that system, because all you got to do is line up the 3 dots horizontally and you're going to be okay. The gun's going to be level. Now, with the Taurus G2C, which is very popular, normally it's about $50 more. I don't know why, but they normally are. And it has a flat trigger on it. And that flat trigger makes the gun a lot easier to engage the trigger with the actual physical tip of your finger, but you're not going to slide off that trigger front or back due to the fact. But I didn't put both of them in there due to the fact that I just want to make this list forever. But the G2C has all the advantages. Remember I talked to you earlier about don't buy cheap and then you're going to be disappointed. Where the problem is on this weapon is it has a long front trigger press. It's not hard. It's kind of soft, but there is a large trigger travel on this pistol. And it comes with an external safety. And it's hard for me to explain this to you as much as possible. Something you just got to put in your hands. These are very affordable. It's a great choice. Matter of fact, they come in multiple different colors, different slide arrangements. You can get a stainless top and purple, blue, green, red, yellow. They come in so many different colors. I would not be disappointed. I stock them in my store. During COVID time when no one else was having any products, we were able to get the Tauruses, and I sold a whole heck of a lot of them because I believe in them. They're a great product and a good price point. At COVID time, they're a lot more expensive, but nowadays they're pretty economical. Neat thing about these, they have a brother, which is a G2. It's not G2C, but a G2, which has a 15-round magazine, which would fit directly in this as well. So you do get the ability to have some high capacity. These actually hold 12 rounds apiece. They make them 10 rounds and 12 rounds, but most of them here in Florida, we just use the 12-rounders. Good product. Like I said before, economically, I think you pay $250 or more, you're paying way too much for it. That's kind of where I'll put it at. You can find these all day long at that $225 range. And a lot of times people think, well, is that enough for you? Should that be? No, plenty. They're going to run. There's nothing wrong with this pistol. It works perfectly. It's a good product. I just tell people, you are on a budget and you need a firearm that's going to work and be dependable. This is it. If you can spend a little bit more money, you'll be happier in the long run because now you have to learn 2 triggers instead of 1. But if budget is budget and you need something, this is a great piece. And matter of fact, they're not hard to rack either. They're pretty friendly. They're not stiff. It's a good choice. All right, so let's go to the next one. Now this is the same gun. It's just full size. So this is our See, what happens in the world of guns is they know the Glock 19 is the standard, right? So every manufacturer, I don't care who they are, every manufacturer makes a Glock light, Glock-like product. It's not a Glock, but it's like a Glock. And this is their answer to that. This is the 3-dot system. The G2, and the G3 all have the same thing. I think this truly is a picture of the G3. Now that I look at it, it's got the flat trigger in there. But the G2 has the same thing, optic ready. They come in multiple different colors. It is still considered a subcompact. It's 15 rounds. They have them 15 rounds and a 17 rounder. 3-dot system on the G2. It's and it's very affordable. These are actually in that same price range, but $2.25, man, $2.25 to $250. Pay over $250 for one of these, you're paying way too much for. The one thing I will tell you in regards to the G3 series, though, is where I told you the 3-dot system is very popular. On the G3s, they do not have a back. They have blacked out back sights. In other words, there is no 2-dot system in the back. It's not that hard to understand it, but where the Glock has the box and dot system, it has a box in the back and a dot. There is no white on the back of the sight to help you see it. That sight system is called a carry sight, which technically it's making you focus on your front post only. But for new students, they may focus on that front post only and not put it in the box and cause them to shoot high. So the 3-dot system is always easier as an instructor to teach students than in just a single front post. So you shouldn't be problematic for this at all. It's a great product. You would be very, very happy with it. It works really well. For some of the prices of some of the guns on this list, you can buy 2 of these for that same product. And some of the ones, like the Sig and the Hellcat, you can almost buy 3 of them for the price of what one of those guns are going to cost. All right. Now we're going to go to Ruger. This is pretty much our list of products we sell on a regular basis. We sell the Glocks, we sell the Smiths, we sell the Rugers. We order the Sigs, and we order the Hellcats. Once in a while, I'll have a 365 in when the customer really wants to shoot one, and we do the Hellcats once in a while. But our list is mostly the top name brands. And Ruger Max. This is a newer idea from Ruger. Ruger, for a long time, was the redheaded stepchild. It was getting his ass kicked by Glock, by Smith, by Sig. So they went out and put a product together. The beginning product was their Ruger Ruger LC9S. And then they had that product for a long period, which is a 7-round single stack. And it worked really well. It had front sights, back sights. I've got one on my dresser at home. I've carried that for many, many years. It's the most accurate pistol I ever had in my life, but it didn't have a lot of the safety features that the original Rugers had. It had no thumb safety. It had no trigger safety. So it was kind of one of those, and no wall safety. So what Ruger did was they said, listen, we're going to make a product that's going to be easier for us to manufacture, as well as make a different price point for everybody. So they were trying to get into that above Taurus, but below Glock and Smith and Sig at the time. And what they did is they come out with the EC9, and that came with a sight system that was in the rail, on the top rail. It was embedded into the rail. It was like manufactured with the sights on the rail to begin, on the slide, excuse me, I keep calling it rail, on the slide. So it was EC9S. It was sights there, but they were blacked out sights. There was no ability to really put dots on those because they were pieces of metal, and they ended up putting that together. But what they did was they made it user friendly. So they made it retail friendly by they put a magazine disconnect on it. They put a wall safety and a trigger safety, which made it the most safest gun on the market because it had all those crazy safeties on there, and it backfired on them. They didn't sell as many as they thought they would, and they kind of got themselves in a position where, what am I going to do here? Well, when this big push to high capacity magazines all came through, Ruger came out with the Max, which great idea, dude. Very first thing they did is they put 12 rounds in a very thin gun, put that Ruger trigger back into it, which is an awesome trigger. They put night sights, plus they have the tritium green, they have the True Glow greens, optic ready, comes out of the box optic ready, very easy trigger, phenomenal product. We don't sell as much as we'd like to because it's hard for people to shoot this and then turn around and shoot the Equalizer. And then I'll be honest with you, if the Equalizer wasn't as good as it was, people probably buying these Max more than anything else. But it's thinner, it's smaller barrel, so it's a nice. This can almost be pocket carried if you were wearing a pair of cargo pants or something like that. So Ruger Max, it's a nice product, but it was just a little big still. So Ruger came out with, and this is the thing I could tell you, Ruger came out with the 380 in the same style. And that right there, guys, is probably the one gun that most people, if you're looking for the pocket carry product pistol that you're looking for that has a good trigger, not a great trigger, but it's a good trigger. Optic, it has night sights on it. This is the problem with 380s nowadays, guys. Pocket pistols are not designed to be used for accuracy. They're designed for the vital triangle. They're designed for short ops. So you take a Smith & Wesson, or you take the original Rugers, or the LCPs. And this is a Ruger Max. It's in the same frame style as an LCP 380, just a little fatter, a little thicker, because it holds 10 rounds. The average 380, no matter which one you got in your pocket, is 7. So 10 rounds of 380 in your pocket, very lightweight, easy racking, night sights. This is the Florida carry weapon. Now listen, my son Jacob, when I went to a Diamondback 9mm that's in my pocket, I carry it every day. And I got my pants on, I got my weapon on, if that makes sense. And that became so easy for me that I pocket carry a large percentage of the time. Because I figure if I'm getting the gunfight, which I don't plan to do, but if it ever happened, it's going to be short distances anyways. It's not going to be long distances. And I'm not going to be in a situation where, if you need more than 10 rounds, some people always say, you need more than one round. But, the whole scenario is it's going to give me the ability to evade, escape, or engage. It's going to give me the ability to have a product there. Now, I am not a 380 guy. I always put the Diamondback I have in my pocket is they come in 380, they come in 9. I bought the Diamondback 9, and it holds 7 rounds of 9mm. It is aggressive, but it had a sighting system on there. It gave me a little bit of pinky magazine, so it gave me some from Finger Groove, and that's what I did. But Jacob, he wears basketball shorts most of the time, or some kind of swim trunk that he wears. So he never wears a belt. So when we started looking for a firearm from him, and by the way, guys, Jacob is 23 now. When he got his concealed, he has not went a day without carrying his weapon coming to work or anything else because he pocket carries. And I can't even tell you that I do that every day. This guy doesn't go anywhere without his firearm. Not that he needs it, not that he thinks he's going to need it, but he just part of his deal. He's got his pants on, he's got his weapon on. And why he does that? Because it's convenient. And there becomes the issue. Which weapon are we going to put in our holster or put in our pocket or put somewhere that we can get to that's going to be convenient and easy for us to do it? And this is where the Ruger Max. The Ruger Max is the carry gun, the pocket gun for the majority of the people. Now, you can't buy one of these if you don't have anything else because it's too short of a barrel for home defense. It's too short of a barrel for range time. Now, you need to shoot it at range, but you're not going to have fun with it. And this has just as much recoil as a 9mm. But the Ruger Maxes are just under $400. They come in multiple different colors. They come with night sights on them. And Ruger is cool because they put it in, they give you a pocket holster with it as well. And to help out even more, Ruger made a 12-round magazine for it. So now you got this little thing in your pocket, this pocket rocket that's in your pocket. You can have 12 rounds of .380 plus one in the chamber, 13 rounds in a palm-sized gun in your hand. It's a no-brainer, guys. It is a no-brainer. If you get through your local ranges and you get anywhere and physically shoot one of these, you're not leaving without it. I promise you that. I promise you that. So, whoa, what the heck happened there? No, it looks terrible. Let me get back here. Well, that slide got messed up. I apologize about that, guys. So as you can see, there's a lot of choices that you can physically start your list with without going into any of the manufacturers, the name brand manufacturers. If you noticed, most of the manufacturers I chose were American made or assembled in America. There's a little caveat to the Springfield ones because Croatia is involved in that somehow or another. But as far as what people like and see, these are good choices, and you should have an option to look around and find out what you like. Now, there's Walther. There's a lot of different manufacturers, but I tried to stay underneath that $600 range, and I tried to use more of what we had here in the store, as well as stuff that we carry on a regular basis. And majority of the people, I worked at a gun store prior to doing this for 7.5 years. We stocked probably 1,000 handguns in the store and sold Glocks, Smiths, Tauruses, Rugers. And the rest of them were onesies and twosies. Once in a while, we sold those. So as a small business, trying to run it and trying to become a training facility and try to get people to shoot proper products, it was easier for us to just stock these. So let me exit out of full screen here. Let's go back to full screen. There I am. Hello. Let's go to some of the questions we had this evening and say hello to everybody again. All right, Kenneth, thank you very much for being here. Natasha, wonderful, Chris. Great. Kenneth says he's a subscriber. Thank you. Felicia Green, I'm from Michigan. Hello, Felicia. How are you, sweetheart? I'm glad you're on the live tonight. Is it your first time being here, Felicia, or you've been here before? You can go ahead and comment for me. Yeah, Chris has that Equalizer. Yep. He's thinking about trading it in for something else because he wants something with an optic ready situation. All right, so we have Tactical Terminator. He's asking a question. Let's see what this is. The question I have, I know that was mentioned a dozen times. Let's see here. Let's see this thing. 1 second. I know it's mentioned a dozen times, but I always turn a blind eye to Sig 320 due to the controversy. Always wanted to own one, even though it is a 320 and unsafe. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I didn't want to go into the details of it being unsafe. It's not an unsafe weapon. There's been some situations where they've had some drop fire situations and things like that. Sig, here's my story, and I don't want to get too far into this, but back in the day when they had the drop issues, uh, Sig wanted us. Well, they just signed a big contract with the United States government, and they did not want to call a recall on the 320s. Now, this is my opinion, okay? There's my quote fingers up right here. But I know what they told us, and I know what they told the distributors, and the distributors told us. 320, due to the drop issue problem they had sporadically, not everyone was having a problem with it. It's, they wanted us to sell the weapon to the customer with the caveat of we could send them in to put new triggers on them. And it just gave me a bad taste in my mouth. And Sig wanted us to sell a gun that maybe could have done that, could have dropped issue. And we just, at that point in time, it was one of those things we made a decision. Well, hey, it is what it is. But it's in the news. You can do your research. That's kind of why Tactical Terminator is kind of why I said do your homework, pay attention to it. I don't want to get into too much details about it, but there definitely was some issues. Same thing when the 365 came out, very brand new. Everyone was excited to get it, but they were having jamming issues with it. The magazines weren't working exactly perfect, but they solved all that as well. I've shot the 320s. They're a great piece. If you want one, buddy, just remember what it is. It's a pistol for range time. It's not a pistol that you need to make sure you feel comfortable. Most of the 320s, buddy, with the flat triggers, the problem is solved with that flat trigger. All right. Here's Natasha. I know she said I switched out my 19 trigger to a Glock's performance trigger. So much better. Yeah, so that's kind of what happens to everybody with Glocks. Everybody with the Hellcats, everybody with the Sig line, they're changing out triggers because they're sort of terrible. You never hear anybody changing out Smith & Wesson triggers, especially on the Equalizers. They're shootable right out the box. 84-year-old woman, I tell you this every time. I had her back to shooting quarters. Now, she's an excellent shot. She was in good shape. But I can tell you this, she couldn't do that with any other pistol but that Glock. But she was doing it. She was shooting quarters, which is impressive to me. And the majority of people are shooting circles, 3-inch circles, with the Equalizer right off the bat. So, it's the trigger, guys. It's a trigger. Obviously, it's instruction. I mean, I'm going to take a little credit. Students have to want to do it. And once you get the concept, it's very easy. All right. Many thanks. Now, you're welcome, Ralph. How you doing, buddy? Glad to see you around here. And Chris, let's see what you have to say. I totally agree on the pocket carry. Great for Florida. Been carrying in my Smith & Wesson 38 in my pocket. I really like it. It's still adjusting to keeping my wallet in a different place. That is true, my friend. I can tell you this. As a 50, back then when I started carrying, I was probably 48, 47 carrying in my pocket. Not every day, not like but in 2019 is when I started carrying in my pocket on a regular basis. And all that time, I had been putting my wallet in my left pocket the whole time. And it became a lot easier for me. Remember, what goes in your dominant hand pocket is your pistol. Now, it doesn't go in your pocket without putting some kind of holster involved in it. But once you've got your holster, your pocket holster of some kind, it makes it a lot easier because if you slip your keys into your pocket and on top of that didn't have in the holster and you pull your keys out, you could engage your trigger. You don't want to do that, would you? So you want to make sure that you keep your identity of what's the carry apparatus is the pocket, and you want to make sure that that's got completely nothing but the firearm in there in a holster of some kind. Whew, it's been an hour and 11 minutes. I don't know where the time went. I hope I helped you out tremendously tonight to help you make a decision on what you maybe looking for that next piece. As I like to say, it's an arsenal or a portfolio. Adding to your portfolio is one of those things that everyone needs to do. You know what's on your list now. If you didn't know what's on your list now, at least you have a list to work on. And most of these firearms, one of the things I did make a decision on is I figured what is going to be at most ranges that are rentable. And majority of every one of these are so popular that they'll be rentable pieces just like this. So even if you were in some place that did not, you're not close enough to us, obviously, if you're close enough to us, get your ass here. Get your ass here. We're open 7 days a week. You want to shoot 5 shots, we don't even charge for that. We'll let you see it, shoot it, but we're not going to let you just come shoot it. If you're really interested on purchasing a weapon, we always let you shoot them before you buy them. And that includes any of the used stuff that we have here in the store. But ideally, getting the idea of how to shoot a pistol and all that stuff, make sure you have some concept before you go rent a pistol. Because there's nothing like going into the range and not knowing what the hell you're doing and then trying to figure out which one's the best if you don't have proper grip and proper stance and proper trigger control, proper sight, all that stuff like that. So my YouTube channel has all that information, will help you tremendously. Keep watching those videos, keep commenting, keep subscribing, and telling friends and family about it. Because remember, I'm doing this for you. Because you are my family. And I treat you like a family. I always tell guys, it's like having a brother-in-law in the business, but a brother-in-law you like. Yeah, I know. I'm corny. I can't help it. Don't forget, I started I don't know if you guys know, but this year I pulled a couple of deer permits. And it's been, I did a video a couple of days ago on welcome to my journey back to the woods. And we're going to start doing a few of those. I'm going deer hunting this year. I've made my decision that I'm going to lose a little bit of weight. I'm going to, I got Miss Johnson and my family gave me permission to take some weekends off. Jacob, he gave me his blessing. He's saying that now. He'll probably bitch about it down the road. And I pulled a couple of cool permits that I haven't had in a while. And I am going to vlogginess my journey. We're gonna go through setting up the tree stands, and we're gonna, hopefully see me harvest something. I'm a bow hunter, and in form. I bow hunt, I muzzleload. We got some rifle hunts coming up too, and I just wanted to do a little something about me. I do the whole the firearms thing. That is my passion. Deer hunting is my passion. Obviously, my family's my passion, and fishing. So we're going to do a little bit of different stuff here, not trying to change anything, just trying to give you a little bit more about me. I always talk about the firearm part, but not other stuff about us. So, and I'd love to take you along with the journey. So if you have an opportunity, don't forget to hit the bell icon, the like, and the subscribe button. And every time we upload a video of any kind, you guys will be the first to know. One last thing before we get out of here. We do have the ability for you guys to do the memberships. The membership, what it is $2.99 a month, and it just helps us. It supports us on a monthly basis to allow us to do more videos. It allows us to do any of this buying equipment and anything else like that. You don't have to do it, guys, but any support at all, you could help tremendously. If you don't want to do that, we do have in all of our YouTube channels, we do have our swag that you can get. You can get t-shirts. And then if you visit our website, there is 2 books that we offer. The first one is a free book. All you got to do is go to our website. About halfway down, it talks about our free book. The first free book is the Firearms Instructors, Firearm Instructors Secrets. These are things that a new student needs to know. And now all you got to do is click on it, put it in the cart, and it's a downloadable book that you just read. And then we have our Why I Shoot Low and Left, which is real popular right now. Helps tremendously with a lot of people. On top of that, that one there is $9.99. But if you enter Live 2024 at checkout, you're going to get $5 off, which makes that book only $4.99. And we would appreciate that very much. If there's nothing else, got 3 things to say to you guys. God bless, be safe, and remember, you are your first line of defense. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Until next week, God willing, I'll see you.